So we go through, we sort of jump from example to example, across the land.
Personal stories,
because most people are covered through their large. If you work for a big employer like Microsoft, that's one category, right? If you lose your job, right, or you, let's say you get your insurance through your spouse and you get divorced, you sort of fall into what's called the individual market. You become a person that nobody wants to insure. So if you've got a prior condition, they don't want to touch you. And then, so it goes through these examples, and and then at a certain point, we have one state in America which had sort of universal health care, Massachusetts. And so at a certain point in the program, we come to there, and we find they've got everybody insured. But there's two problems in healthcare. One is getting everybody covered, and the second one is the cost of healthcare. And if you don't, the way other countries do is they control it with a price. I mean, you must do it here. There must be price controls, right? On doctors, they can't charge what they want, can they?
Everybody has to have insurance, and it's expensive.
That's the coverage, yeah. But that's mandatory. You have to, and you can't be denied it, right? But if the hospitals charge what they like, the whole thing would collapse. There must be some other system.
I believe that the insurance companies,
they do a deal.
They do a deal with the hospitals. So they're the ones who have the power to cut the costs.
Yeah.
And some costs are not insured. So if you want a special treatment,
such as
cosmetic.
I actually
like some dentists.
I just wanted a treatment that was safer than another treatment, then that one was not insured, even if it was cheaper.
Right.
For instance.
See, that's the amazing. Your system looks really good compared to ours, right? But any system around the world, people are unhappy with it. There's not. I mean, everybody, even the Japanese.
But I think one of your questions was.
So the in between those 2 points, there were personal. You went to personal stories, but how did you deal with the policy?
The policy, it really is a sort of policy story. I mean, basically, but it's made to look not like a policy story. So if we were discussing,
who explains about that?
Well, so you got sort of experts along the way, right, who come in.
Very briefly,
but they're rather good, But they explain in terms of an example. They tell your story, and people will say, how could it be, So there's one case which is very dramatic where there's a thing called rescission. So you get insurance until you get ill, and then you get ill and they drop you, right? And they go back and look at your application form.
Deal for the insurance company.
Yeah, they go back and you say, well, you didn't. You said that you were born on Tuesday, May the 3rd, and it was in fact Wednesday. I mean, some ridiculous thing.
So they actually employ fact checkers to find the mistakes and drop you.
And they get bonuses for finding mistakes to drop you, right? I mean, it's called rescission. It's outrageous.
Did you talk to people who have that job?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I mean, so that so it goes to example, and then it goes to Massachusetts, and this was before we have a healthcare plan which is going through. It's going to be very problematic, but I mean, it's such a big story for us because literally. You have one of these bad experiences, like you lose your job. You work for Microsoft. Their baby was covered, $1 million, and then suddenly you're out.
You lose your job,
and you lose your insurance, and then you may find it really impossible to get anything else. And this poor woman who was rescinded, she got breast cancer. So she was going along. She gets breast cancer. She has all these medical debts, so she's dying. She has $100,000 worth of debts, and then they sort of rescind her.
What's rescind?
Rescind means
drop.
They drop. They take it back. They give you insurance and then it's like
withdraw it.
Withdraw it when you get ill, when you need it.
Right? Yeah. But it has a kind of happy ending in a way because
you're satisfying. I mean, it's a policy story, so it's pretty complicated. But because you come back to the place you started, you get a sense of completion. Right?
And even there are many problems that are unsolved.
Yeah.
The question has been answered. There are people.
Thank you very much.
The examples in between, you said that they're all small examples. how did you decide the how did you decide the
How do we
the
find
order? No, the order. So
Oh, the order.
did you
The order was really thrashed out in the editing room. It's really not that easy to tell totally. I mean, even after you've made a lot of these things, it's pretty complicated how to get the right order. And you just sort of have to try the order, and you see, well, that's, you know, and it's amazing. You could put this example there, and
different story?
it just flows, you know, rapidly.
Okay.
I mean, I like to say, after all this time, I know what won't work. I know what might work, but I don't know what will work. If I did, I'd be rich.
Yeah.